Okay, so that's where we are. Now can I talk about American propaganda? Because there was a rally in Dearborn, Michigan. Chant of death to America. I feel like we've passed something here.
So I talked a little bit about the anti-America or anti-American kind of underlining motivation when it comes to a lot of these pro-Palestinians who literally hate the country that they had the privilege to be born into because they are ignorant, closed-minded people who don't know what's going on in the rest of the world because they live in echo chambers and bubbles. To think that America is the most disgusting country with the most disgusting culture and is the most oppressive country just shows like the actual Western and American privilege and entitlement a lot of these people have.
He said, we live in one of the rottenest countries that ever existed on earth. It's not just genocide, Joe, that has to go. It's the entire system that has to go.
But I wanted to hit back on this because I actually meant to include the Bill Maher clip in my last video, but then I forgot because I talked about a lot of stuff in that video. Go check it out, put links down below, where I talk about why I think that anti-American and anti-Semitism is really like a lot of the motivation when it comes to the pro-Palestinian protest. I don't think it's about Palestine anymore, and I don't think it's about Gaza anymore. I think there is something more nefarious going on here.
I just want to say, and I said it before, there is somebody behind this movement. There is some organization behind this movement. The level of organization that we're seeing in both of these encampments here and at Columbia, leaflets on how to protest, leaflets on how to commit civil disobedience, leaflets on what to do when you get arrested, leaflets on what to say to the police when they ask you. There is somebody funding this. There is somebody radicalizing our students, and our Deputy Commissioner of Counterterrorism and Intelligence will find out who it is, and we're going to be asking them some questions when we do.
We demand a free Palestine from the river to the sea, and that we stand with the Palestinian resistance and their heroic and brave action on October 7th, and they said, long live October 7th!
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off, not by the security guard, but by you two. You three. Oh, look, they're making their burger while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm going in. I have my hands up. I'm not hurting them.
You're just a white person. You're a white person. We don't like white people. Oh. Free Palestine!
الموت لأمريكا! الموت لأمريكا! الموت لأمريكا!
But every time I see someone who's very like anti-America, it kind of just reminds me of that ex-KGB interview that I reacted to a while ago, and I've been meaning to maybe react to it again because I still think it's so relevant and maybe see how my thoughts may have changed or not changed when it comes to that video. But every time I see that, I think about that because in that interview, the ex-KGB, which is undercover spy for like a Russian agency, who he decided to leave because he had a change of heart or what have you, and he mentioned a lot of different type of steps on how like a country can attack another country from the inside out. And do I think Russia is the only country that does this? Probably not. Like there's probably America probably does this, a lot of country probably does this, but like he took you step by step of the process, and he says it takes like, you know, a couple of generations, but you start with the kids and you start in universities and you start in the education system and you slowly brainwash them, you know, by demoralizing them first. And now we live in a culture, especially in the West in America, of hyper demoralization to the point where like neighbors would demoralize each other. Like you don't even need the puppeteers anymore to do its work because you just wind up people's back and they do it for you. Like everyone's at each other's throat and everyone's hyper focused on trying to knock the other side down a peg, which is a form of demoralization. But the other step was that you will make the next generations hate the country that they live in and hate everything about that country, everything it stands for, the culture, the religion, the history, every single bit of what America, what makes America America, what makes the West, you start to hate it to the point where you would welcomely, with open arms and glee, usher a different ideology in and usher a different culture in, because you just have been now convinced that yours is the most disgusting and it needs to be demolished. And you hear a lot of these pro-Palestinians screaming like, burn it down, burn America down, you know, burning flags, which is fine, that's a part of free speech.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. This is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards.
I just wanted to add that, like, again, Bill Maher has so many issues when it comes to his politics and his sort of like elitist attitude when it comes to the not caring that much about the economy and understanding why people, that's one of the reasons why people voted for Trump. But in other ways, like, he has been really balanced, and I don't think he's ever been like a hate America, hate this system, hate this country type of person. He's always felt like America was great and America was one of the best countries on the planet.
I feel like we passed something here. When you start chanting death to America in America, I mean, I got it, Charlottesville was real bad when they were chanting death to the, what was it, Jews will not replace us. But on American soil, here's the Tarek Bazi is the organizer of this. This was at the end of Ramadan, International Day of Quds, Al-Quds, which was pronounced originally by, he said, this is why Imam Khomeini, that's the Ayatollah Khomeini. Remember him, yep. The Ayatollah Khomeini? He's the good guy now. Khomeini, he would say to pour all your chants and all of your shouts upon the head of America. Yeah, I heard this before. Not coming from America, but the great chastisement. We will chastise the infidels. But now it's coming from inside America. Sorry, got to talk about this again. He said, we live in one of the rottenest countries that ever existed on earth. It's not just genocide, Joe, that has to go. It's the entire system that has to go. No, it doesn't. I like our system. This is America, for crying out loud.
Well, what about...
And there are people who see me say this, oh, he's a conservative now. I'm a conservative. I have not changed. I always liked America and thought death to it was bad.
Now, do I think America is perfect? Hells no. Do I think America can learn a lot of things from a lot of other countries? Hells yes. Do I think a lot of countries can learn a lot from America? Hells yes. From someone who lives abroad and travels quite a bit, I've seen it firsthand. I think sometimes the left and the right needs to get out of their bubble sometimes so the right can understand that they do have a lot to learn from other countries, and from people who hate America actually understands how immensely fucking privileged they are to have been born in such a free country. It just kind of pisses me off when I see stuff like that. As someone who voluntarily left, it's not ever because I hated my country. Now the tension and the energy in the States, I can't jive with it. When I went back home for half a year, couldn't jive with it. Everything was about politics, everything was about race, everything was about ideology. I think the West in America is on a spiritual fucking decline. I think everyone worships their ideology and their belief system and their politics, and their talking heads that are the heads of their belief systems or their politics or their ideology, and I can't jive with it anymore. But I didn't initially leave because I hated America. I am extremely aware how immensely privileged I am to have been born in that country. Yes, as a black queer woman, I am still immensely aware how freaking immensely privileged I am, and to see people spit in the face of that privilege and spit in the face of that blessing that they were giving is crazy to me. People are literally dying and risking their lives and risking their children's life to go to America for a reason. It's not because it's the worst country and it has the worst system and the worst culture and it's so oppressed. It's not any of those reasons. I think that a lot of these kids need to be kind of shut down, because when you're saying death to America, to me that's a call of violence. When you're saying river to the sea, that's calls for violence. When you're saying I am Hamas, that is call for violence. So for me, those things need to be shut down, but that's just my opinion. But anytime you try to shut those things down, then people scream freedom of speech. But to me, those things, when you call for violence, is not a part of freedom of speech. You're calling for violence and it needs to be shut down, and I don't really understand how it got so big and so crazy this this much without any pushback from anyone else. I can go on, but I won't because I could probably talk about it in different videos. But let me know what you guys think of what Bill Maher said, what I said. I feel like the next handful of videos I'm going to be making are going to be kind of serious, which is kind of a bummer because I made some unserious videos like before this, and it was kind of fun to just talk about silly things. But I don't know, I've kind of been detached from this situation for a while, and now I'm kind of plugged back in to like these protests and what's going on, and I just don't really like what I see, and to me it's nefarious and scary, and people need to pay attention to it. Because if you hate America, deaf to America, and you're an American citizen, and you have access and rights to buildings and schools and public transportation, and you get into groups that say, hey, you want America to burn? Here's a vest, strap it on. I think people need to pay more attention to it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. If you want to support this channel, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below. And also in the comment section, you can super thanks, and you guys have an amazing, beautiful day.